Yes, meeting is now open.
Thank you. So I will send
Ready?
that. We're ready.
About as
We are
ready
ready,
as
sure.
we're ever gonna
Good.
be.
Receiving my contract.
Yep.
Hello.
I have revised drawings. We had last spoke about location of windows,
Uh-huh.
coordination of the drawings.
Thanks.
So if you look, I guess the main concerns of the elevation, like the drawing A7, where we talked about blanking the bay window area, two more narrow windows.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I'm showing there.
Mhm.
A7, we removed the one centered on the bay area.
That was to avoid having one that was quite off-center, right?
Exactly.
Or something?
Yeah, just trying to gain a bed wall inside that room
Right.
there. Then we go to drawing A9. where we have the three windows in a row there, and I'm just trying to align at least one side of the window with the ones above on the second floor. Those will be separate windows, not a triple them all together. Drawing A10 shows the three double hungs. Picture window and the two flanking double hungs that will be removed. Reintroducing that small window again on the second floor there for the stairwell.
Right.
The one that was boarded up and it's being.
Yeah, and I actually have a few.
On the west
I have a
elevation.
sample here of it just because it matches everything else, but I just wanted to talk about proposed to what's existing. Last we spoke about were Anderson insert windows, which someone seemed to have an issue with.
Yes.
Anderson makes a sash replacement window, so I have here. I
Okay.
have the catalog. So that
Okay, let's take a look at it.
So here's the sash replacement. It's an aluminum clad
Mhm.
exterior, one on the inside. Here is an existing wood window. This is actually number 5. The 4 are like these two here, and the one's on top. And this is actually number 5, which was behind the wall. So you can just kind of compare profiles. If you like.
And so how does this sash replacement work? In other words, when you put it
Jam
in?
liner, compression jam liner,
Okay.
which goes inside the frame of the window.
All right. Can I see the catalog?
Yes, you have the actual, that's the window, and the next page is the actual detail. The other show is there.
So you said this is one of the sashes from the window?
That's
that's
this
boarded
window.
up?
Yep, that's that one behind the
My
wall.
God, That's huge in person.
Yeah, this is the lower sash.
Anybody else? No, well, just let.
And this one is that an example or? 'cause-
This is the actual, well, not,
It's pretty light. Why don't you just pass it around? Doesn't weigh much.
well, actually, it's kind of heavy.
Is this mullion pattern?
There's no mullions.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so
it's
imagine
an
this with no
example.
mullions.
So it will look just like that.
It'll look like that, right.
So it's the two.
Take the mullions out, and we're just looking at the thickness
Yeah,
of the
it's just the
glass,
sides and the
frame, the
rails.
lower part of it, the rail.
We did approve aluminum, aluminum faced wood windows on Main Street in the National District. It's either Jennifer's house or the one next door.
If I remember correctly, I think aluminum clads are in fact allowed in the national district.
It just mentions vinyl, but in the just general historic district, it does mention aluminum.
This is a very well insulated window. I can barely hear you from the other side.
See that on Main Street.
Carolyn, whose house? Jennifer.
Jennifer's,
Summer?
it's either Jennifer's where it's in the one next door.
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Let me hold it up.
Actually, I think it's the one next door.
That would be Stephanie.
Okay. So let's take this one piece at a
Big
time.
ones.
Do I have a motion on
I'm trying to remember her husband.
the window revisions as shown on the submitted drawings?
I would move to accept them as submitted. I think that they mitigated the issue on the bedroom wall over that bay nicely. And as far as the windows on the back are concerned, I feel like they're pretty far out of the right-of-way sight line. But
Yeah,
also, I
all
think
the
they're
windows-
treated properly.
All the windows on the north elevation, on the first floor, I think are not visible from the street.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'm just, okay, so I'm sorry, we're only talking about, we're talking about every single window or just these specific?
Every window will be replaced.
Right.
These are new
Eventually,
window
but
These are
these,
new window
what are we voting
locations.
on right, we're voting
We're
on.
just
the
Voting on
location
the
of the
changes to the
The
window
locations,
location.
okay, I'm double, triple checking because I have to
Sure.
read the minutes,
Yep.
so, okay.
So do I have a second
On what, the location of the windows?
on the location of the windows?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, so the window changes have been approved. Okay, now as far as the replacement windows, and these are, all of the windows are gonna be replaced with this system. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Can I just see the original slash thing?
I'm sorry, who made the motion to approve the relocation?
I made the motion
Okay.
to approve.
And I second.
Got it.
So, these are really, so the bottom rail is the same.
The side rails are really close.
There was a concern about the proportion of the windows matching what McKeel had originally proposed.
Right,
He's
that
an
was-
important
This is what was
architect,
originally
yeah.
proposed, obviously.
Yeah, the visibility of.
So we just want to make sure that the
of
proportions are
percentages.
within a hair.
Cool.
Do I have a motion to approve the windows?
I would move to approve the window as presented.
Do I have a second?
Well, I
I
have to
have
say, I would
questions.
actually like to see the existing windows wherever possible, maintained and renovated and either using exterior or interior storms. I understand that we want all the windows to look alike and not have, a mishmash. So I would second it.
Okay. I have to echo Carolyn's sentiment. It would be nice if the windows could be maintained. But we understand some windows just need to be replaced. All right, so.
I have a question. I mean, all these windows, I mean, how many of them, we don't know how many are in such dire condition that they can't be.
But that's not what he's applying for. He's applying to replace all of them.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
According to the applicant, when he last presented the drawings, the only two existing historic windows are the two sets of two windows on
And I think we
the
said that it
east
was,
elevation, these
the difference is 7/8 of an inch,
versus these.
right? Is that
Right,
correct?
but if we're talking about, if we're talking about,
7/8.
That was the insert, this is for the sash replacement.
Okay.
Last time was 7/8.
But that's,
this doesn't appear to have any change. Oh,
Okay.
maybe the side rails by a,
I'm raising it because that
But
was a
maybe an eighth
concern
of an
in our
inch.
last discussion.
right.
Yeah.
But to the question of restoring windows versus replacing windows, am I correct that you maintain that these four are the only existing original
And
windows?
then number 5, which is that one behind the wall.
Which is
Right,
the
right.
example that we're seeing,
Yeah,
which
that was
clearly
boarded
would need to
over,
be
so.
repaired significantly.
Okay.
So even the one on the second floor, that larger window on the front facade, that's a replacement window already too?
That aluminum jam lines, which is something in the 70s.
Sean?
Do we need to discuss it further, or
Well, that's why.
Well, I
asked.
wanted to ask a couple of questions,
Okay.
just to
Go
make
ahead.
sure.
No, I mean, I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page as to what we're voting on. Okay, well, that being said, I still would move to accept the
Okay.
application as presented.
Carolyn?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
All right. So Sean, yes or no?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye, yeah.
Aye.
Can you make copies of the catalog cuts of the windows?
Can I bring one item up?
Sure.
Mhm.
We're getting into the renovation of a home. The Yankee gutter
Mm-hmm.
is in complete disrepair. The rafter tails are almost non-existent. They're barely hanging onto the foot.
Sean?
Replacing them
Sorry.
will cost $36,000. I have a quote for that. And I'd like to propose a large 6-inch copper gutter. Replacement of the Yankee gutter system, which I feel is kind of not going to achieve what it's used to achieve because of just the poor condition of the rafter tails, which they don't even exist. So if you want to scout and look out there, and they are barely holding onto the plate. I'm really concerned about introducing another Yankee gutter system that is just going to fail. So I'd like to at least mention it to you that I am proposing.
It'd be helpful to workshop that, I think.
I mean, my feeling is Yankee gutters tend to have problems, as you described. My first inclination would be to, to allow the installation of a gutter and the Yankee gutter. I don't know how other board members feel.
It will be copper.
Yeah, I think that it's I think it's a historically significant aspect of the building, but I don't necessarily think that it's an aesthetically significant aspect of the building. So it's kind of a 50-50 split.
Yeah, I would just
And if
need
it's
to
something
see-
which
What would you
can't
be
be, I mean,
doing
it's a
with
sign
the
of the times, but it's not necessarily a sign of
Right.
the style. You know
What
I
would
mean?
you be doing with the rafter tails? I
Probably
mean, are they exposed now?
And they're not exposed. I mean, they're just sitting. They're ending at the plate right now. So I would have to extend the rafter tail down a bit just to create a soffit, and then add my gutter to that.
The bulk of them are just gone because they've been wrapped in aluminum for 40 years and the perfect
Right,
environment
okay.
to rot.
Do we have the photographs of the house? Done?
Do you have some of that side from the driveway?
Here's the historic photograph.
Yep. That's probably a little clearer.
Because the soffits are enclosed anyway.
Yeah.
The rafter
Well,
tails are-
actually, what's kind of interesting is that you have molding around, the base of the roof. So I would be curious as to how you plan on accommodating the gutter there.
And how do you attach them?
I mean, where it flares down. Obviously, the Yankee gutter was inboard of this, the fascia / molding around
There would, I
it.
guess, be fascia to soffit that's kind of band board. Try to mimic what's happening here. Set up with band.
How about,
But
what's,
that fascia is above the shingles here. That's on the wall plan, isn't it? Or is that, no, that actually does stand out. I take that back.
what is the gutter on the porch? Or is there a gutter on the porch?
Doesn't look like there
It's
is one there.
a Yankee gutter that's been filled in with tar so many times, it's almost not there anymore.
So is this a gutter running down it?
Yeah, that's
the leader.
The leader coming off the gate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry, the leader. Some like leader
There's really
edition.
two options on how to treat it.
There it is again.
Are you familiar with Kathleen's house?
Uh-huh.
She has the half-round galvanized gutter. You could use a half-round copper that's hung by a strap off the edge of the roof, or what's more durable and long-lasting is to have a square fascia and then put a square copper gutter on there. It'll last longer, it'll look more like this detail here from the street.
I'd like to see a detail of that drawn up.
I think that we would be willing, not today,
Mhm.
but we would be willing to consider it, and a lot of it depends on how it's detailed.
Okay.
So, you know, if you can have some photographs of existing conditions and then some details of what you're proposing, we can discuss it.
I'll do that.
The last time you were here, you withdrew the fencing near the pool, which I presume you would want to also have the same type of fencing that you then proposed along the back of the driveway.
Right.
Okay, do you want to bring that back up?
Well, I think that the other fencing, the reason it was withdrawn had to do with the height.
No, it didn't have to do with the height, it had to do with the fact that you claimed it was stockade fencing because there was an opaque bottom panel of,
No, it was
That
because of the height.
Yeah, it was the height. I mean, got it right here.
well, the height is really up to the ZBA, isn't it?
I know, but,
Right, and before we even voted on it one way or the other, we discussed that it required a variance from the applicant.
And then it was
to rescind
withdrawn.
the application.
Because I looked into fencing of that type within the National District, and I found a huge number of stockade and panelized fences and fences of pretty much of the same design that you proposed within the National District. I presume most of them have been approved by this board, although I was only on the board since 2010. And I know several of them have been approved by this board.
Well, Kathleen's was approved by the board.
Yeah, but Kathleen's is not in the National District technically.
The stuff,
She's one off.
the stuff in green was withdrawn.
Yes, I know that.
Right. And
No, I know
this
it
was,
was
this
withdrawn.
was the
The one
was
around the
approved.
condenser.
Yeah, around the condenser. was
No, I know
approved.
that, but the stuff in green was withdrawn, I know that, I'm aware of that. But in my walks around the village, I found any number of fences that, in fact, matched this type of fence, that are in the National District and most probably approved by this board after 1999, when the current design standards were approved.
Right, and then you've checked the files that it was in fact approved?
I know at least two of them were approved, absolutely.
Okay.
I haven't checked the files because, the files are, is what they are.
Because a lot of stuff gets done.
No, I know a lot of stuff gets done, but I know that two of them were definitely approved by this board post 1999. And both of them are on Main Street in the National District and in similar locations on the adjoining side street to this one.
Okay. Well,
Regardless,
we can take
if
that
the
up.
applicant would like to get the zoning variance, that, I think,
We can
certainly be
talk
something
about
that
it
we can
then.
talk about after that.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
That's out of our hands.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I'll file an application first for the gutters or continue this?
No, the gutters.
The gutters.
Just for
The gutters are more.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
another application. Or-
Yeah, because it would be, your application's already been
Approved.
Status quo.
approved, yeah.
But it will be old business since.
Right.
It sounds like you're gonna have a standing visit to our board every month.
Probably, as we
Are
explore
you
new
taking out the
things.
siding and?
Yeah, that's gonna be next.
Next.
If he, to save time, if we are gonna be kind of workshopping two options of gutters, should he file the application with both options listed, and then we can just modify and vote on that,
Yeah.
rather than wait for another set of meetings?
Yep,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
smart.
So if you, on your application, outline both attachment scenarios, whether it's off the corner of the roof, on straps, or on a square board,
Okay.
then we'll just pick one of the
Decide on one
two,
of them.
essentially. So that way you don't
Then you can
do a
avoid the workshop that I recommended.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't do a workshop and then a meeting.
Mhm.
So I am attending the workshop?
No, you'll just submit your application with both options.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll just review it and basically vote on one of the two options.
What about the siding?
What about the siding?
Do
What
you
is it
wanna-
actually,
do you
what
wanna
is the
bite
question?
that off yet?
What is outlined in the application regarding the siding?
Applications.
I don't know.
I don't think so. The first application, the only thing that changed in the first application was deletion of that section of fencing.
Excuse me.
But otherwise, everything else was voted on except for the windows, which was resolved today.
I mean, if you wanna be ambitious, you
Return
can,
it to its original design.
Right. But I think we still need to discuss.
if
Yeah,
if
any
you wanna add
change, any
siding to the
change.
application, I think you can, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I
Even if
see.
it's just a removal to expose the wood and.
Any change to
Any
the
change.
material. So we had roof replacement, which was approved, window replacement, which was approved, AC condenser location, which was approved, and the new fence, which was withdrawn. So what I would do is just fill out another application like this
Go to
and
society.
list as much as you think that
Okay.
you'd want to talk about, and, you know, if we don't process it that night, we'll
Mhm.
process it. Like,
Yeah.
Just a quick question. The siding that's on the building, the original siding to the building will be restored.
mhm.
And we're gonna take off the vinyl that's on there now. Does that need to be discussed? We're not
It needs to
changing
be,
that.
it needs to be presented to us.
Okay.
Because it is a change in the materials. I don't think you're gonna get a fight from us on removing the vinyl siding.
Really?
Yeah. It's just a guess on my part, but
Mhm.
it's,
Okay.
all right?
Thank you.
Cool,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Street.
On your way out, can you tell Kathleen she can come back in?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Clothes in that bag, the bras. No, I'm asking if they're up.
No.
That'd be awesome.
This is show and tell.
Show it.
Yes, we
Parts of the foundation?
The entire
Sounds
foundation
heavy,
in the bag.
clunky, and
All of the
unpredictable.
Or is it a bottle of liquor?
There is correspondence on this application. I'm gonna take the 224 step out of your way. I'm gonna take the 224 step out of your way, so you have room for this.
Well, I'm gonna take this certificate of appropriate.
Okay, so just make sure at the end of the night we leave one. We can deal with it at the end of the night. This is stuff that's for later on the
Okay.
agenda. So here's the stuff from Beth, and Jeff, the clerk, did not date stamp these, but he did send an email the day they came in saying that your application fee had been received and that the escrow was, $1,000 escrow was received.
Okay.
He just neglected to stamp that.
Okay.
write on or with?
On, no.
No, I can get paper out of the copier if it's.
Okay, we've got two application forms on the third.
You think that combined, like garage and guest house or one?
Yeah,
Yes, there are two. We are planning on submitting a third application for fencing and landscape, but that will be in the future because we're gonna incorporate
This
some.
is all workshop stuff. Because this is the first time we put in, this is the first time we put in an actual application.
Yes.
The rest is all workshop.
all right, well, so then,
Workshops until now.
yeah, I'm gonna need a third copy of the application form.
Oh, a copy of it. Oh, okay, I can have that with me.
So we can,
And that's both applications, or is that? You said-
Well, I
You have
guess,
two
I
copies
guess
of something,
we can talk about that. Is this the application for, the work?
One of them should be for the garage and the cottage, and one in the guest house, and one should be for the cottage, because the cottage is the only one that
Separate.
needs to be secret.
Well, but the secret would have to be combined with this. I mean, so.
No, it would not, I don't believe so.
Because normally, I mean, if we were to propose just doing one now and doing the cottage later, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the demolition and the new construction would have to be at
But
least
it
under
is.
secret.
But it
But
is,
there
the
isn't any
cottage.
demolition.
What?
There isn't any demolition of the
other two buildings.
other,
Agreed.
the garage and the guest house.
Agreed.
So
What?
when you were all together last time, this is why I asked this question, it sounded as if you all had discussed breaking out the two.
In
So
fact,
that's,
it was
Yes.
recommended, yeah.
It was actually two different workshops. We talked about timing, and you said that we could submit the cottage as a separate application, both the demolition and what we're proposing, which is this set of drawings, and the garage and the guest house as a separate application, because this one would probably lag behind the other, because it would take more time.
And the owner would want to get going.
And so
So
we
that's why it
could-
was
we
suggested or
could-
recommended.
Do two applications. And each time you suggested that, I said, no, we'll try to do everything at once.
But the
because-
but the modifications to the garage and the guest house, the alterations to the garage and the guest house are not dependent upon the approval of the cottage, correct?
That's correct. That's
yeah.
correct.
Okay,
They're
so that's
separate.
why they can be separated, they're not.
They're gonna do, yes, they're gonna do this work, and even if this isn't approved, so it's
Or even if it's approved later.
approved later, yeah.
So I
So to get
guess
back to your
let's,
initial thing, you
yes.
need 3 copies of each of the 2 applications.
Well, okay, I guess because the application that you have listed here is for the work on the garage and the guest house.
And there's another application for the
the
cottage.
cottage. The guest house is the building behind the garage.
Yeah, I understand that, but, so there's only one application for each?
1 copy. So we need 3 copies of each.
Okay, number 31 and number 35.
Right.
Okay, so 35 is the
Historic
historic.
cottage.
Well, yeah, I guess the historic cottage. Okay, so I guess if you're submitting both of these applications, I need 3 copies of the application.
So you need 3 copies of each.
Okay, so we have 2 applications that we're looking at. The first is the number 35 cottage, and, which requires demolition. Do I have a secret status that?
I move that it's,
Oh, so why don't you hand them the rest
Okay,
of the
so
drawings?
we're gonna do that one
Yeah.
first, because this is the other set.
Yeah,
This
so
is
hand
the
them the
garage and
Well, okay, we're gonna have to go through some formalities before we get to actually
Okay.
looking at that. All right, so you were saying?
Moving that it's a type 1 action because it is in the national district. And it involves significant modification of the existing structure.
Do I have a second to that?
Or desire to modify that motion? Because if you, Carolyn may have something to add.
I would determine it to be type 1 because it is in the national district and it's a major modification.
It's not in the national district, it's in the local district, isn't
It's
it?
in the national district.
Well, I would think that essentially what we're talking about is demolition. Am I not correct?
Well, that's where we're certainly leading. I mean,
Okay.
that's what, when we did the.
So the proposed actions.
No, it's in the local district.
It is in the local district, you're right. The structure next door is national, that's right.
Yeah.
Right, so,
Meaning when I say the structure next door, I mean
The garage and the guest house?
no, I'm sorry.
Oh, the
The next-
next one.
The property that touches next door. the
No,
ones-
no, that's not what I mean. I'm just going blank.
Church.
Yeah, the chapel.
Or chapel.
Oh, okay, the
Oh.
other
No,
direction.
the line ends at, New Street, 1, 2, 3 parcels in, which is the Potacek property. Next door, correct? Am I reading that right?
Okay.
Mine is ripped, but I believe that that's the Potacek property. Here's New Street,
no, that's me.
you're here.
No, I'm here.
All right, well, in either
This-
case, it's still in,
Yeah,
it's
this
still.
is, and this is the Gouverneur house, which was is next door because it's a shallow lot. And then this is actually part of, well, that's the sort of empty lot. Actually, this is the boat club. See, there's New Street, that's
Yeah.
the boat club.
So regardless, this parcel that we're talking about is actually in
It's
the
this one.
the locally designated portion of the
Right.
district.
Right.
All right, so then that raises the question, Caroline, so I'm gonna withdraw my motion because
Well, I
I am.
withdraw mine too. I mean, I stand corrected.
Well, so now I don't know, I don't know how seeker actions in the national district, it's automatically a type 1.
Yeah.
It is still, however, this is still it's a major action on a landmarked, it's a major modification of a landmarked structure.
The
But it is-
structure
but
itself
it's-
is not
demolition.
landmarked.
I'm sorry.
The structure is not.
Included in, it's still, I'm sorry, it's a major modification of a structure that is part of the district. I don't know how that impacts, and I'm deferring to you because you have more experience with seeker.
I would say this is type 2. I would say this is type 2. I mean, it's a modification of the building, but it's an alteration of the building and it's basically raising.
But why is seeker not applying? Why does seeker not apply?
If I had the secret regs in front of me, I could read it off to you.
Hold on.
I think I have one. Yes.
You have the type 2 listing. Could be an unlisted one also.
If we run in there, I think I have more. I actually think I have your notes, that'd be great.
Here it is, type 2.
There, yeah, that's what you wrote to us.
Well, my gut feeling is that I believe that the board needs the advice of the village attorney on this because it is a similar action to what is being proposed in another parcel in the district, although that property, I'm talking about 126, although that is listed nationally, there is the potential for partial or full demolition of this structure in the same way. I am unclear
No, it's not
myself.
the same way. It's not the elimination of the structure, it's a modification. under type 2 actions, must not be a type 1 action as defined in type 1. And it's the construction or expansion of a primary or accessory appurtenant non-residential structure or facility involving less than 4,000 square feet of gross floor area and not involving a change in zoning or use variance, and consistent with local land use controls but not radio communications, blah, blah, blah. Or it's a construction or expansion of a single-family, two-family, or three-family residence on an approved lot, including necessary utility connections, blah, blah, blah. So I think it fits in one or the other categories. I mean, it's most recently been used as a residential structure.
That's right, and it will be used as
Yeah,
that.
so,
And it's in a district, zoning district that doesn't have any restrictions on that. There's no
Yeah, and it's
variance required.
under 4,000 square feet, clearly.
Quite a bit.
Mhm. So I see it's just a type 2. I think
Well-
it's just a straight type 2. I don't think
Type
there's.
2, yeah.
All right, let me ask you this then, because under description of type 1, we have any unlisted action unless action is designed for the preservation of the facility or site occurring wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to any historic building, structure, facility, site, or district or prehistoric site that is listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Which is right next door
Chapel.
at the chapel.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where my brain was going initially, was thinking of the chapel being,
But it would have to be an unlisted action, and here it is a listed action under type 2. So it's not an unlisted action.
so can you say that another way so that my brain absorbs that?
Okay. If it's already listed under type 2, and I mentioned the two sections of 617.5 type 2 actions, subsection 7 and 9, that it fits under, so it is a listed type 2 action. What unlisted actions are those which are not specified under type
Identified.
1 or type 2. So it's not an unlisted action. It's already a listed action. All right?
Can I look at yours?
So even though it's a
with my eyes
listed
again?
type 2 action that's occurring adjacent to a nationally designated landmark, still treated
So then-
as type 2.
So then why doesn't that also apply to 126 Main Street?
126 is in the national district.
Well, but it doesn't say anything about a district here.
In type 1? Yes,
In
it
type-
does.
In the type 2.
My recommendation, I don't feel, I feel enough doubt in my clarity on this issue that I will abstain from this decision and would request that the board seek guidance because,
Fine.
okay, I bet other people may not feel that way, that's my own position, but I feel that there's enough difference between what the two of you are saying that I don't feel I have clarity, and I don't feel that I would be making a well-informed vote. I can see what you're saying, and I can see what Al is saying. Others may feel differently.
126 is entirely different because 126 is not involving the preservation of the building, and it is in the national district, which is included, doesn't have to be an individual landmark. If you look under type 1, it only has to be in a national district. So just read type 1.
Well, I just read type 1. It says, which is wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to any historic building, structure, facility, site, or district or prehistoric site. So, and it's contiguous to the.
Well, yeah,
Chapel.
no, you're not I'm not talking about this, I'm talking about 126, okay? 126 is in the national district.
Okay, well, but this, the listing,
But it's not an unlisted action.
That's a definition of an unlisted action.
no, this is the definition of type 1 action.
Yeah, but the first words in that subparagraph refer to an unlisted action,
Okay?
okay? This is a listed action under type 2, which 126 Main is not a listed action.
Okay, so then
under
my
type 2.
question to you is that where in the listing for the type 2 actions does it mention historic districts?
Doesn't matter whether it mentions historic districts.
Then I don't see the difference between the two. I don't see, using your logic, why 126 wouldn't be a type 2, and I happen to think it's type 1.
Type 1 only refers to those unlisted actions that are either in a district or are adjacent to a national register land, okay? Where 126 is in a national district, so therefore it's automatically type 1 because it's not intended to preserve the structure, it's intended to demolish the structure, so therefore it's automatically type 1.
Okay, but essentially that's what we're talking about on the cottage. It's going to be demolished.
It's going to be rebuilt in situ.
Okay, in order to rebuild it, it's got to be demolished.
We have demolition in any alteration that we make. That we
I know,
approve.
but I just don't see
I'm
it.
interested to know what others have to say.
I know you want 126 not to be reviewed as a type 1, okay?
I didn't say that. I said I...
No, it's pretty obvious.
Well, and it's obviously obvious that you don't want this as type 1.
No, I
Okay,
initially said it was type 1 until
now that
I
we've
found out
gotten
it's
that
not
out of the
an
way,
issue.
let's get to the facts of the issue. all right?
Okay.
Let's not talk about what people think. Let's talk about...
I'm not talking about what people think. I'm talking about this is already among the listed categories in type 2. Therefore, it's not an unlisted action.
Okay, then, and my question to you is that how is that definition, the definition that you're pointing to, different than 126?
Because 126
Nationally listed.
is nationally listed.
I know,
It's
but it
in-
doesn't, that definition doesn't have anything about a national
Type
standard.
1
Contiguous.
has that definition. Type
Agreed.
1 has that definition. And type 1 also says, unless the project is to preserve the facility, okay? And in the case of 126 Main, the intention is to demolish the facility.
And the intention, I think this is going to be demolished.
No, you don't understand. You don't understand. That's not what type 1 refers to. If it's automatically type 2, it can't go into type 1. If it's type 1, it can't go automatically into type 2, okay? The only area where you have a question mark is for unlisted actions. And unlisted actions are those which are not specifically listed in either type 1 or type 2.
Right.
That's what an unlisted action is.
Okay, agreed. But using your logic, I still don't see, because in the type 2 definition, it doesn't say anything about the national district.
It doesn't have to,
Well, then why does that not apply here?
because it's not in the national district.
It's contiguous to a national...
Individually, the chapel is individually listed.
Individually
Right,
listed.
so this is substantially contiguous to a nationally listed monument, and that's the essence of my question.
Okay, look, then toss it to the Lord.
If this were not next to the chapel, this would be much clearer in my mind, but because it is substantially contiguous to an individually listed structure, that's where my question is.
Carolyn's description is very clear to me.
Yes.
The hitch with the nationally listed landmark next door is
Okay, I mean.
part where I have a
just
question.
Give it to the Lord.
And I
Just give it
worry
to the
about
Lord.
being consistent.
That's what I'm worried about too. So, but that
I would
doesn't
toss it
mean,
to the lawyer.
that doesn't mean I mean, we can still look at the other portion of the application and come back.
So the only thing I would request
Mhm.
is that consultation with a lawyer not be billed to our client, because that seems to be something that you all have to just be clear on, no matter what. I mean, it has to do with Main Street and it has to do with the same property, so that's my suggestion. I don't know if it'll be followed, but it seems like that's something that you all should know and not bill our client for to find out.
Well, the only thing is that the issue really wouldn't have come up without your application.
So that everyone else will benefit following this.
Well, not necessarily
I'm just
so.
asking that you keep it in mind, that you're careful with spending
With the
our
escrow.
client's money
But
with
we're also
on
trying to
things that you need to
be,
know.
we're also trying to be careful in the interest of your client to make sure that we're following the process we're supposed to follow.
Absolutely,
And if we don't want to put you down a road that you don't need to follow,
Absolutely.
because of that question. So it works both ways.
Right.
There is a benefit to your client as well,
Right.
potentially.
Absolutely, but we can't make that decision for you all. You have to make that decision on whether it's a type 1 or type 2.
Correct.
We're trying to make the best decision. A type 2 would be more costly to your client. We find out from the
Understood.
village
Type one.
lawyer
Understood.
that it's a type 1. That will save him a lot of grief.
Reverse.
Understood.
Yes.
Reverse. Okay, so, question to the village attorney.
All right, so then, we want to put it off until we get.
But we can review the other application for the
Right,
other two
but,
structures.
we're talking about the cottage.
I don't know why you
But
can't go
why
ahead and
can't we
review
start
this
to review
without.
this, because they know if we're putting it off, and it does have to go to a type 1 action, then it's even getting farther, out of the time sequence with the other project. Because ideally, economy of scale and building, they would do them together, all of them.
Is there something that prevents you from reviewing without that decision from the lawyer?
Well, you're not gonna get all the way through it tonight anyway.
Understood. But at
So,
least
so
you
why
can be
not work
familiar with it and
efficiently with the
start to-
ones that we can wrap up, right? You've got 2 other structures to look at.
Well, you could start with that, sure.
Okay, so
Okay,
that
well,
was,
let's start with that.
that was our hope in terms of sequence.
Okay. So this is the other one. Other one, so
What are the,
this-
excuse me, Al, 1 second. What are the numbers that go with each
They're right on the cover.
building?
So 35 is the
29 is the
cottage.
garage.
And 31 is the guest house. The main house is 33.
Okay, because we also have to at least vote on the secret status of these two, so why don't you briefly take us through it, and then I'll ask for a vote on that.
I'm sorry, 29 is the garage, main house is 33, and the cottage was.
The guest house is
35.
Or guest house. Guest house is what?
31.
31.
Okay.
That's the
just
one,
to
the
make sure I
building
have this-
behind the garage.
Okay, thanks.
So 33, we're not talking about.
Right, got it.
So, if we want to go through it more concisely, we could skip to page D2, the first are photographs.
P, D,
D2.
oh, D.
Select general.
Using things.
And so, our proposal, D1, I guess, would be better to start there. The garage will have minor changes to the exterior. We'll be replacing the fixed panels that were carriage house doors and making them actual garage doors. So this was an apartment, we're turning it back into its original use as a garage. And we're taking one window on the east side and making it into a door. What? Oh, south side, yeah, sorry. And then everything else is interior or, change of light fixtures on the exterior. The guest house behind it will be a gut renovation. The exterior, what we are proposing to do is, the major thing is to raise the roof 2 feet 9 inches. Basically, the knee wall is at 3 or 2.5 feet. So we want to raise the knee wall so we can have a usable second story. And what we would propose to do is demolish the roof and the second story and build new framing from the platform up for the second story and the roof. We're also changing the openings, adding a deck to the rear and adding a cupola to the roof to allow light in over the center stairwell.
Essentially, what we found on the second story was that the floor plan has been reconfigured so many times with relocating the stairs that there are no continuous joists going through. And so they've added beams and beams to try to make it work, and so it's just like, it doesn't make sense to keep it because
Yeah.
we'd end up basically making it solid by sistering
Mhm.
even more.
Okay. And you're raising your roof on the guest house too,
2 feet.
2 feet?
9 inches.
9 inches. Okay, thanks.
It will be, it will have painted wood siding, it will have wood trim and wood clad, aluminum clad doors, windows, Marvin doors and windows, which also match the windows and doors on the main house.
Do you have dates of construction of these structures?
I couldn't really find any dates for the guest house, and historical photo of the garage when it was used as Downy oil, and I think Smith oil before that. And actually, we've got this is in here as well.
But we don't have the date on
But
it.
let me see if I have the.
Maybe you having a colored image of, you thought
As
was
we
the
know
80s or something.
from looking at the cottage, none of this shows up on any of the Sanborns, any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a bullet,
It's
it's just
a
that it doesn't even
glass.
go past that stuff.
I mean, just looking at it, it looks like a 1930s building.
Yeah. I mean, it's blocked.
Yeah.
Oh, the garage is a block
Right, so it's
building,
gotta be,
so when it was renovated in 2007 or something like that, they stuck out the exterior.
There is over on this side, you probably noticed that still, I assume was a sign pole for a garage or for an oil, advertising thing. The pole is still there.
I don't have the assessor's form with me, but I don't think it has dates for any of the auxiliary buildings on it. It just has them listed.
Okay. So do I have a motion as far as the secret status?
I'm going to defer to Carol.
No, thank you.
You want?
No, thank you.
Anybody else want to make a motion as far as secret status?
Well, go ahead. I have a thought unless you're preparing something.
I'm not, I'm writing
Sean?
and thinking.
My instinct is that it would be considered a type 2 designation because it's do we have to treat these as two separate buildings? I mean, same lots, they don't have to be treated as separate.
They're
They're
connected.
so married that
Right.
if you took one
Yeah,
down.
the garage and guest
So as far as the
house.
garage is concerned, it's, the modifications are unsubstantial, and as far as the guest house is concerned, it's, I don't think that the modifications proposed are substantial enough to make it, type 1. However, it is still in the same plot of land that is adjacent to the nationally landmarked building. I still think that it would be considered a type 2 because of the
The nature.
severity of the changes.
Yeah.
Do we know what the status of the other applications for the main house? Is that a secret, type 2 or type 1 action, or?
You mean when that house was built?
Yeah, when the house was built.
That would have been a planning board action at that time, because it was, a site plan review, so the planning board would have done the seeker at that point. But first, let me close out the second. I concur, Sean, because of the nature of the modifications. I believe that this application for these two structures is rightly classified in type 2. There's my second.
I mean, under type 2, we have construction expansion or placement of minor accessory residential structures including garages, carports, patios, decks, swimming pools. I think if you're raising the, if you're tearing off the
And the-
upper story and raising the roof.
And it's a residential use,
Yeah.
and it's the square footage as well.
So
there's a motion on the floor.
All right, little discussion, and, I mean, it's on the same piece of property that is contiguous to national landmark.
It's a separate application
Okay.
for a separate class of modification. If you would prefer to wait and roll it into one question, I'm fine as the seconder of the motion to do that. The mover of the motion would need to accept that as well.
Okay, well, I guess I'm asking the question, the fact that this is also, am I correct, it's the same lot?
Same lot.
It's all one lot. I'm looking at it in the sense that the modifications as presented are not severe enough to trigger a type 1 designation. I think that if this were the only application on the table and we weren't even discussing cottage, which is how it should be treated, because right now it is the only application on the table, I don't think we would have any concerns about it being considered a type 1 designation.
I agree.
It's not demolition, it's expansion, and it's
And modification.
a modification as far as the garage is concerned, it's doors and windows, which we routinely classify as type 2. The deck isn't pulling the trigger. I mean, there are a number of changes that are being made, but I think individually or collectively, none of them go over the line into a type 1. Something that I would consider to be a type 1 action. But I am one man.
You are too, the seconder agrees.
I am two men.
I had the same thoughts, and I read it out of the guidelines, so.
Okay, so, we have a motion on the, did anybody second it?
I did.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. What's the?
Who moved?
The vote for?
You?
I moved, Kevin
Okay.
seconded it.
So let's vote on whether approve the type 2 designation. Sean?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, aye.
Took long.
Great.
I'd like to note for the record that if you look at the site plan, drawing P-O, the location of the cottage,
P-O.
it's the
It's
second
the
page.
first, or you have the other side plan, it's the photo piece, just.
B-O.
Okay. To say that the cottage is substantially contiguous to the
property,
chapel.
not the structure itself, but the parcel.
Well, the whole parcel is substantially contiguous, but the location of the project is not over here, it's over here. And you have a great big mound of earth in between, earth and rock. And to say that that is substantially contiguous to the chapel, which is about 200 feet away at least, I mean, I think that's really stretching. I really do.
Well, so,
I disagree with that because it's from the property, you can see the chapel, from the chapel, you can see the
Actually,
property.
that's not true.
Well, you can see the property,
You can
definitely.
see the property, but you
You can't
can't see the cottage.
From the chapel?
From the chapel.
If you go through the photos.
If you look at the photos, you can see, because they were actually taken in winter.
In winter, though, there are some evergreens there that somewhat,
You also have that great big mound of rock and dirt in between.
so we agreed that we would get clarification on that point to be sure that we were making a decision. Put your papers down.
And I would point that out as a factor in referring this to the village attorney.
I think that's reasonable to include in
Yeah.
the inquiry. Okay, so now we're looking at the garage and the guest house. We have made a secret determination on that application. What's next?
All right, so, the 35, 30, okay, Okay, so this set is what we're, okay, so I guess my next question would be, do people think that this is gonna require a public hearing?
No.
If the guest house were closer to the public right of way, I might feel that way, but because of the setback and its distance from the other public right of way, which is the river, I feel less inclined.
I don't think that this requires a public hearing. I think that even if it were closer to the public right of way, when it was approved raises to, oh no, I guess that was previously approved after a public hearing. Have we approved of ridge being raised on a residence without a public hearing? What happened with?
We haven't had an
Bose
analogous,
or-
exactly analogous, this has a structure in between.
Yeah. I mean,
That's my
don't-
thought.
I mean, I don't think we had a public hearing like for 124. Well, they didn't, that was just re-siding the windows.
124 didn't change the roof line. 124 did not change the roof line, is that what you're saying?
124
I-
who, Maine?
Main.
No,
yeah.
there's no roof line change.
But if it's only being raised 2 feet and, you know, it's behind another structure,
And it's a previously modified.
it's just not significant enough to warrant a public hearing, is my view.
On page P5, photo 19 shows basically what you can see from the street, which is if you're walking down Lund Terrace,
Yeah.
the overpass, that's really about where you
Mhm.
see the guest house
Yeah.
from the street view.
By the time you get down to Market, you're already down for the garages, the roof is already
Yeah.
higher.
It's just not.
Okay, so then, do I have any comments or questions concerning the proposed work?
Talk about materials.
Talk about anything we want to talk about.
If you walk us through what's changed since the last time this one we haven't workshopped in a long time. I think it was last summer when we actually talked about this the first
I think
time.
it was like February.
Well, the garage is pretty straightforward because we're really taking out what were infill doors and not infill. They like carriage-like doors, but they're not original to that property. They were brought from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And we're returning it back to the garage that the structure was built for. So, and we're making the doors look, they're divided. So
The doors, they look a little bit more like residential garage doors than the original Downey Oil garage doors, but
which are very.
they have a little similarity with the lights above. And they are wood, cedar doors. We're planning on painting them. The other,
So it's sort of like the midpoint between the garage, actual car garage, auto garage doors that were there, and these made-up stable doors.
yeah.
And by putting the door at the side, obviously then we get rid of the need to have this door inside of this faux,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of door are you adding on the, what is that, the south facade?
it matches the windows that are there, which means that it's steel.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, it's not
It's,
changed.
yeah, so on page A60, it has all the doors and windows and the schedule, and then there are cuts after that. It is a Marvin French outswinging door. We're going to have a transom above that will match the steel casement windows that are, I think, original
that's
to the
104.
structure.
Where
Yeah.
is this going? This is going on which elevation?
The south
On the south
elevation
elevation.
of the
We're
garage.
converting a current window and cutting out the
Page
sill
A21.
below and making it into
Oh, I got it, thank
door.
you.
And then, yeah, 60 has the sort of blow up and schedule.
Maybe 21 is
And you're maintaining stucco finish on the garage?
We're gonna leave the stucco, and yeah, it will be painted, repaired, but nothing else.
And are you replacing the window, no, that window stays?
The window stays, we are going to
And
map.
it's a metal window, right?
They are,
Yeah.
steel.
Right, I guess the clad wood, that's the door. Is that, is the cladding the door or the frame? In other words, I'm sort of curious how you got this transom light.
It's,
Is it transit itself?
the transom itself, there is a custom Marvin, so they can make a very thin mullion, but it's maybe a
Well,
little too thin.
okay,
But,
so for the material clad wood, is that the door or the frame or both?
the frame is, all the frames are wood, the material of the doors and windows are aluminum clad wood.
Aluminum clad.
Can you step back a second, because I think my brain's having a hard time reading. On A21 on the north elevation, where is that door on the right going? What are you landing, what are you stepping out on?
Oh,
Right, so
there's-
this is south, this is not north.
That's right. On the north elevation?
Oh, yeah, you're right, on this,
They're
north.
reversed, south and north.
Okay, I mean, that's part of the reason I'm confused, but still, where is this, what does this step
There's
out to?
a-
Because here's the grade, right?
Oh, it's retaining
It's
wall
terrace.
and terrace.
So you go up, the steps that are in front of the double door.
If you look on the
Turn
previous
right.
page, it shows it.
Go
Go
to
back.
A01.
Sorry that I'm confused.
A01.
It's terraced as it is now, but we're going to be reworking that terracing. And since we're doing a sort of a full landscape package with retaining walls, arbors, stairs, the structure at the river, that will all be part of further elevation.
But essentially, you go up the stairs in order to get to that door, and if you, so you see the way you go up the stairs
Yep.
and turn right, and then you'd be on a kind of patio.
Yep.
If you kept going straight up, then you'd go into the higher elevation
Got it.
door, constructed shape of the guest house.
Thank you.
I guess I'm sort of curious as to that door, because realistically, the A14 is about the only door that's sort of visible from the street, because I don't think you can even see this from the sidewalk.
No, you
Yeah.
can't.
So-
But this one you.
But this
you
one,
could.
yeah, this one you will, the windows existing to remain, something like that. So it just, because it looks like an unusual configuration for a wood door frame. And I appreciate what you're trying to do as far as matching the transom to the window, but I'm not sure that that's, you can really do that in wood.
What are you asking? What are you?
Well, I'd like to see a catalog cut.
Well, the transom.
Yeah, it's in there, but we'll-
You're
I mean,
not,
it's
you're not
custom,
convinced
so
that
we
you
may,
could
there
do
won't be a
something.
catalog cut, we'll have to get a shop drawing.
That
for the
thin
drawing board.
wood.
How thick are the mullions?
3/4.
3/4 wide?
Yeah. It's a custom, they're matching, so we'll have to get a shop drawing.
Yeah,
from
you
Marvin.
can, I've done that in one. I will attest, you can do that in one. In
Okay.
aluminum clad wood.
Right?
'Cause
I will-
3/4
I will take, well, but are the window muntins 3/4 of an inch?
The steel ones?
Yeah.
Or it's a T?
No, it's like an eighth of an inch.
Well, yeah, but you see the profile with a T that it's
Yeah.
resting in, that's
Well,
3/4.
that's 3/4, yeah, so it's like this.
You
Right.
read it as that.
As,
I thought you meant this here.
No, well, no, I
Overall,
mean,
it's
because,
3/4.
because you're trying to do this in wood to
Yes.
match that.
Yes.
And so you're just trying to see exactly how thick you're gonna wind up getting. Okay.
And maybe it could be just open above, maybe that might look
I
better.
mean, a single
Just a
light.
single light, I mean, maybe that's.
As
maybe-
the door,
As the door next to
Next to
it,
it is.
and maybe it's, yeah.
Well, wouldn't
Not
it, isn't it gonna be
realistic.
built as an SDL anyway? Or is it actually gonna be divided by?
Oh, I think it would be actual divided by in this case, because, it's not a living space. You don't have to,
You don't have to insulate.
yeah, it's not the same concern. It's a garage.
I take back my assertion that I have done it in wood. That was an SDL. So
I don't feel strongly about the transom question one way or the other, in that location. I don't know what others think.
I see how you're separating the, more industrial looking space from a more residential space, but
But maybe, it might make more sense to have
I
it
don't think
match the transom
Yeah.
next to it.
I don't
But you're not gonna see
have
them at
strong
the same
feelings either
point.
way on that one.
Except from
not
inside the
sure,
garage,
no.
you're gonna see,
Yeah.
see the other windows and you'll
Well,
miss that.
no,
Well, and
not
also you're
really, because-
retaining a memory of what this building was. I mean, it did have these large
Windows.
And-
metal, extruded metal windows, right? So you're capturing that spirit in that transom. For what it's worth.
And if window 101 is also going to be new, the one next to it on the same elevation.
No,
No,
that's
that's
existing to remain. That's existing
Oh, that
to
is
remain.
Yeah, these are all of these windows.
So
We're
all of-
taking out that same window here
Right.
and cutting out below, and all the other windows on the other elevations still look the same.
I mean, if you could, and this is the reason why I'm asking, is typically, a wood frame kind of looks like 202 as opposed to 104. And so that's why I was asking about the frame for the door. I mean, to me, that's, I think I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I think that's going to be a profile which you're not really going to be able to accomplish with
The
wood.
door we have it cut for, that's it.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the window.
He's talking about the frame too, it's very
Frame.
minimal, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a cut.
It looks like it's a bigger door than 202. I'm looking, I don't see a measurement for it, but I mean, it just appears.
I think it's an existing masonry.
Yeah.
It is.
So
And there's a cut
it doesn't
back here
matter.
for that
I mean,
door.
if it, to me, if it.
So
Or page,
I'll tell you the page number.
about 33.
Yes.
Oh, I see, yes.
So just being conscious that it's 9:20, we've got two more folks tonight. What do you need to look at next?
Well, I guess if we're gonna vote on this tonight, I'll let them know what we're voting on.
So I'm asking the question, so what?
All right, so you feel that you can do that in wood, or flat wood?
I think we can get very close to it. I don't have shop drawings from Norman. Is that something that if you approve it and you come back with a shop drawing, if it changes substantially, we could have the door reapproved?
I don't have any problem with the door, and what concerns me is if you're gonna try and mimic the steel window, the details for that are much different from a wood door frame. And so, And, you know, if you're going to try to make it look like a steel frame, then I think you can only do that in steel. At least that's
I mean,
mine.
you know, originally we were gonna do them all in steel, but it's prohibitively expensive.
Right.
So, you know, throughout. So maybe, I would think the solution was maybe be more to have it look more like the doors that are everywhere else on, you know, this building. You know, these three and the ones on the back.
Right.
Even though you don't see them from the street, it, given that there's, you know, 4 different buildings, everything has a separate character. We're trying to unify as much as possible, but, you know, keep them, you know, their original, their distinctness about them. The main house does have these carven windows with the seam.
Right.
So it sort of helps unify it in that way. So I think maybe the answer would be better to have it match that door and try to not have it be more like the steel.
All right, well, I think that's a shame, but to me, that's fine. I guess the cupola. Anybody have any questions about the cupola?
No, it's set so far back, I don't really think it's,
Well, also, you
Well-
have an existing, you have an object rising at that ridge right now anyway, in the shape of a block chimney. So the form already exists. It's certainly an aesthetic improvement to shift from a block chimney to a cupola. I don't see it as,
I think also by losing the chimney and adding the cupola, it kind of makes the building face the street more, as opposed to,
yeah.
Right.
in its
feeling
current
like it's the
configuration, it
back.
looks like you're looking at the back of the building.
that's a good point, Sean.
And actually, to that point too, even giving it that additional, increasing the ceiling height by that 2 feet too, I think is gonna give it a little bit more of a
Street presence.
forward-facing street presence as opposed to being this like weird thing that you're standing behind.
So the chimney is being demolished, okay, remove existing ceiling. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be as invisible as everybody is saying, because raising the roof 2 feet from 9.
9 inches.
And then, you know, if you look at, for example, this shot, which is standing on Lund Terrace looking across. I
It's not
think-
meant to be invisible.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
Well,
invisible.
okay, well, then.
It's true, it's trees that block that view now, you can't see that same picture now, but the trees
Okay.
could come down.
Yeah, and
We can't
trees
technically,
die and-
consider a
But you
vegetation.
really can't.
But that's why
photograph.
we can't take that picture now,
Yeah.
because we can't get rid of the trees. And to your point, Sean, too, it will also now have these 2 windows.
Exactly, it's
which
gonna
is
look
just
more like a
blank
building.
thing, right? You're right, it does have some,
And not a forgotten space.
it's not looking only at the river, it's actually
Yeah.
looking over its shoulder a little bit.
I find it to be a strange addition.
It is a strange addition. It's a strange addition already. So you're dealing with a strange, I mean, you're dealing with a strange structure.
Well, I mean, from the street, basically, what you have is, you know, an end dormer of a building. And some windows in it, which I think raising it helps the windows, makes them look a little bit more reasonable. But then the new cupola, just,
I don't understand your concern.
you know, I think it's a strange addition,
The cupola or
the cupola.
But something can be strange and also lovely at the same time.
They can.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess the other question is there any reason that cupola, I mean, there's there's an opinion about the cupola, but is what the applicant is asking for compliant with the
Agreed,
standard?
yeah, and I think that I'll give due deference to, that this is what the applicant wants to do, and so it just, as we all express our opinions, that I'm expressing my opinion.
So the other rationale behind the cupola is that as Beth was mentioning, we are trying to tie these houses together, and the main house has a significant cupola.
Right.
So we're trying to get.
That's the picture I was like
something.
looking for, and in the house, or,
It's, the shots from the river.
yeah. It's like, okay.
Okay, what, the light
There's
fixtures
a
are
cupola.
changing, right, on the garage?
And it's the fixture that's in the last page.
Actually,
The last page is a short thing.
I don't think
I see now.
it's adorable,
That thing right there?
It's actually a cupola.
is it?
How do I-
Yeah,
It's just
Copeland's
octagonal.
Yeah.
James Copeland's
Yeah.
It's a much more understated light fixture than what's there currently.
And it's a better scale.
It's a much better scale.
It's a little on the right.
Okay, so moving hardware.
Okay.
All right. Anybody have any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing that I hesitate about is going away from the top light on the door in the garage, because I think that because you're maintaining the scale of that opening, I would like to see the maintenance of the top light with the muntions.
Steel. I mean, I don't know if you can rework the window and keep that as the transom. I mean, but that's, I think, something that we're gonna have to work through with, whoever's doing the work. And maybe that's something that we can come back to you with, a solution for the door. But I mean, does the door have to hold everything up?
No, that's, I
I would-
don't have
I would
any,
just like
I don't
to
have any
get-
hesitation about any of the rest of it myself.
I mean, from our point of view, we would much prefer that Mark would be able to accomplish that, because if you have a single vendor responsible for the opening, you don't have any blame.
Right.
Pointing,
Right.
finger
Yeah,
pointing
but
about whose
I mean,
waterproofing detail it is. So that
that's
would be,
true.
we'll try for that. If
Well,
that
others,
doesn't work,
others may feel
then we'll
differently.
come back.
See what others.
I don't have a strong opinion about that transom either way. I mean, I think it's nice that you're trying to tie it in with the, like, to clarify that, this is a former more, like, commercial space, this is more residential, and I don't know if it would be awkward to make this try to, appear to be residential, but it would also tie, I mean, it's such a patchwork of structures.
You can just leave it as patchwork.
There's a
You
patchwork.
don't see, they're not
I
in the same
mean,
plane. The residential portion with those new doors aren't in the same plane as the garage, and they're
Yeah.
not visible, I think,
Yeah.
to the same degree. And that's why I feel like that building should relate to itself,
Yeah.
because you
yeah,
experience it
yeah.
distinctly from the
just-
rest.
It's also a wider- the
the property,
proportions are
and this
different.
is a major courtyard, and you're looking at the
Yeah.
whole thing as one, so, I mean.
True,
If-
what we're concerned with is what you see from the public right away.
I'm swayed in the direction of the mountains then, because I think, also this is a much wider door than this, smaller residential door, so.
Well, I think if we approve it as drawn, then it's incumbent upon the
Sure.
applicant to produce it as drawn, and if
Yeah,
there's
if
a
you
problem
wanna make
with
a
that,
change
then
later, you
you
can do
can
that.
come back and talk
Yeah,
about it.
yes,
What's
I
the-
agree.
What's the gate supposed to look like going into the courtyard?
It's a separate
That is a
application.
really good question that we are struggling with.
I've seen many of those.
I
many
could show you
studies on
about
that.
25 studies, none
But
which
we're
are.
not, it's not part of this, we're not ready
Oh,
to.
boy.
No, there's not that many studies.
Okay,
but-
now,
So-
is the arbor part of this
It is
application?
not,
It's
it's
also
not,
part of
it's
the
noted
application.
on here to be
Yeah, I
filed
see it because,
separately.
then I see it over here and
It's just kind
it
of-
doesn't have that note, but just to clarify.
Yeah.
keep using track of where things are. What's visible from the waterfront is which number?
Well,
Here we
I
go,
mean,
A20.
You would see,
the,
you can see it.
No, I was just trying to get back to this page. I'm there now.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I mean, the facades that are most visible are this, and the front facade.
Right.
Well, from the street, yes, but we also have to consider the river.
Well,
But it's so far back from the river that
Right.
Maybe
You
not
really can't see the
primary.
line.
And we've approved this kind of,
Right,
this
I-
type of
I-
railing on
I-
Closary, and there are a number of other examples around the
And
village.
this house here as well, the main house number 33
Some
is
configurations.
matching, you know, there's already that railing there, so.
So if you look at number 16 on P4, that's not even from the river, that's from the end of the dock.
Mhm.
And it's really, and it's in winter, so it's, but you can't see it. If you get up, the closer you get up, but then you're starting to go up the hill to 14, the image above it, you're actually starting to already go up the slope.
You're starting
Yes,
to
you're-
stalk the
you're-
resident
yeah.
is what you're starting to do,
You're on
yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes.
Carolyn, any questions?
Nope.
Andrea, any other questions?
No. I have none.
Do I have a motion to approve the drawings as submitted?
I move to approve the drawings as submitted.
Second.
Okay. Kathleen,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Andrea. Okay, it's approved. I think that the only thing we ask is that has to do with this door. Am I correct?
We're saying we approved it as drawn, so if they can't
Approved it as
produce
drawn.
that, they need to come back.
We'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna come back for the arbor anyway.
Yeah.
You'll be seeing a
Eventually.
lot of us.
Mhm.
Don't worry.
Okay.
So then, for the other element of this application, but not this,
The other
no, not
application.
the other application for the cottage, there needs to be communication on that, and communication back to the applicant's representative.
Right.
And then we should give you,
So before we can discuss it,
So that we can make a secret finding and move forward.
so, but we should give
but
you
I'm asking, you
this
can't move
now,
forward
or-
until you.
Well,
Wait, sorry, you're asking two different things, what?
Okay, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Ask it, ask the.
So are we needing to wait for that determination from the lawyer before you guys can look at these things, before we can discuss it?
um,
And in the interest of moving
no,
forward?
as a matter of fact, according to his email, we can look at it. We-
On another.
Yeah. We can look at it, and I guess the question as far as the seeker status won't be determined until we have the next voting session.
So then this is
A
considered a
workshop.
workshop?
Yes,
So this is a workshop. I
that's
see.
a workshop.
So we're coming back in 2 weeks for
Yeah,
this?
we can't make a final determination until we get the secret element
Right.
cleared up.
Resolved.
So that's a month from now for the next.
We are
for the next meeting.
we are very likely to meet the fourth Wednesday. We've been meeting consistently on the fourth Wednesday
I see.
for months
Okay.
to accommodate applications. And given the load we've got, it's hard to imagine that we wouldn't at this point.
I think it's already on the calendar.
So my question is, do you want to take these now?
Is it helpful to you if we have a look at them? I'm just conscious of time.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
no, we appreciate all your time, we
No.
appreciate other people are waiting, but we also, in our
Oh
conversations,
no, I
we-
actually meant just sort of, do you look at them when you're not in session, or that's just something you don't do?
I think that you can, why don't you leave a copy, and whoever does in fact want to come by and take a look, will come by and take a look. I know I would not be able to squeeze it in. And realistically, until secret is resolved, we really there's nothing that we can act on.
Okay, well, I mean, we've workshopped this frequently, so, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I guess the only real reason to do it would be if you guys can look at this and say, oh, well, you know, there's a lot of information here.
Mhm.
Nevertheless, you may say, but I want to know this too. Right? I don't know, but
Well,
that
can
would
they
be
leave a
the
copy
reason
with us,
to-
and if we wanna look at it, we can look at it?
If you, or you can set a time limit for a Passover to give them
Pass on,
any,
I'm not Jewish.
for feedback.
Well,
If I can just quickly walk
obviously,
you
one,
through it, then-
obviously, one way or another, we're gonna have to vote on the seeker status. So,
And the secret
why don't we
status is
schedule
only
it?
to be determined
in-
on what it is they're actually presenting to have done to this building. I mean, right now, we are assuming that it is what we discussed in workshop, but unless we've actually seen the application, that we can't move forward on the secret determination at all. Am I correct?
Who wants a copy?
Alright.
I'm saying, take 10, my suggestion is take 10 minutes and look at it to try to be time efficient for them, so that they have feedback if they need it.
I think that realistically, let's, in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, we're gonna have another session where hopefully we have the information from the lawyer, and at that point, we can talk about this.
So the 23rd.
Go to the fourth Fridays, I'm sorry, fourth Wednesday.
Right. So does anybody have any objection to that?
I think we're flipping through it. They've asked, what I think Paul is asking for is, have a look, if you see anything glaring, say it now. They have 2 weeks to fuss.
Or if I were to get even 5 minutes, I could talk you through the drawings, and at least you would be oriented to be able to look at them if anyone cared to. But if not, that's fine. I mean, they're fairly self-explanatory, but it might be helpful.
Yeah, well, my feeling is that, you know, we can flip through it, and is it significantly different from anything that we
Yeah, I
talked
don't
about
see anything
before?
different.
No, it is actually just clarifying and making.
Is there like a particular point you'd like to clarify that's different from our workshops?
Well, I think
Is there anything, like,
if you go to the
significant?
if you go to the first plan.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Chauncey?
I have it in front of me, ECRA.
Yeah.
If you look at the front.
Yeah, are you
vestibule
removing
area
that?
Where the red lines are.
Oh.
Those red lines indicate the only places where we have either confirmed or highly suspect that
Which
the
drawing is
existing
that?
rim joist is there.
See that?
ECRA.
ECR.
Existing conditions.
Yes.
And the reason that we suspect that it might be there is because when we remove the skirt board on each elevation.
You have pictures of that, right?
Yes, we do. And each elevation is a different one.
Mhm.
On this particular elevation, the existing siding remains because we think at the time they did the perimeter concrete haunch, that the rim joist was fine. So they didn't cut the siding. They just put on a new skirt board. So that's why we think.
Yeah.
You can see this here.
That's the only part of
And we
the
can see this
structure with
one
real
here.
integrity.
And that's exactly right.
Yes.
So that's
Okay.
the sole
So
structure.
that's-
And anywhere else is either a void, literally, that there's
Yeah.
nothing there, or there's brick consolidation.
Yeah, all the.
Okay.
Now, are you proposing to demolish this building?
We are.
Yes.
Okay. So
Because-
you're not using any of the original materials or anything?
Well, we
Yeah,
are
yes,
using
yeah,
original
yeah.
material,
We're
but we
salvaging what
can't,
we
there's
can.
no way to hold this thing up or jack it or do anything else that
Just constructing a
makes
new
any-
frame,
any sense.
constructing a new frame and reskinning with what can be salvaged from the outside, correct? I mean, that's what I've understood all
Yes.
along.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Okay.
We hope to be
So-
able to salvage enough
So
siding
it's,
for the
it's
entire thing to
in
put it on.
sense, it's creating sort of a replica using partially old material and partially new material.
Yes.
In a sense, yes.
I'm trying to figure out if replica is the right word, but yes.
well, I mean,
Well,
what we've
that's
been
what the-
talking
that's what
about
the
is
drawings at the back are.
reserving.
Okay, but let's not jump the gun on this, because we still have to do the secret.
I'm asking for clarification, that's all I was asking.
Okay.
And what of the?
So this is primarily documentation about what
Why-
the existing
what's
conditions
there,
and
what's
what,
there.
and you know, why we're leading to that conclusion. And then at the back of it is the proposal for what we're going to do, our proposed solution.
Okay.
Right?
And the
All right.
brick portion is new construction, is new construction as well.
I think it has to be.
Yeah,
If
I
you,
don't know
okay.
if
if
there's
you
any
look
way to-
at the brick in here,
So no, it's really highly elaborating on what we talked about before. and
Right.
kind of a-
Okay.
And then there is also a written portion which we'll drop off for you, which is kind of the verbal equivalent.
Okay.
It's not finalized because I want to make reference to some of the drawings in there. So I have 2 copies of it right now.
Okay.
And we'll
Anybody
drop
else?
off more.
When you,
I'll drop off more.
when you drop it off, if you would either send Al an email or
Mhm.
ask the clerk to let us know, so that people know to come grab it.
Okay.
That'd be great, because then we can just read it.
So then the 23rd?
Yes.
Cool.
We should leave this with the text, that'll be the office map.
I'm gonna put it underneath the box, so it will not fit in the box.
Move this down. Okay, that's yours.
so we're taking this back, is that
Yeah,
it?
we have one,
I'm
right?
taking
Yes.
this so that I can read it.
Okay.
Do we have, oh, you have right there, the other 2 boxes. Okay, just making sure you had them, because that's a big,
And we'll reserve the show and tell for next.
is this your folder? The black one?
Not even some
I know, it's gonna keep me awake.
Probably will.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
But that's just
No
one.
thanks.
Do
Is that
you
bugs in
need
it?
Anything out of here? Do you need
But
the
it is in a
referral?
Ziploc bag, just in case.
No. The other thing is,
Thanks.
I guess the copies of the application.
Yes, I have that down as something we have.
Well, actually, you need to drop 2 of them for the ones that we
I
approved.
can make that copy tonight before we go,
Okay.
that we don't have to bother coming back.
Okay, so it's just the second application.
You need-
One for the
Yeah,
college.
there's only 1 application form, so you should have 3. So we
Yes.
need 2 more.
For the cottage.
For the college.
Okay.
Cool.
19 Garden Street. Going once, going twice.
Were you able to pull the original file?